make him an offer, Captain. I'm fucking with you, Steve. You gotta fight through that shit.
Stuck on this.
I told you that I want to go to that festival in Sweden.
No, you said it would be cool to go.
Yeah, and then I got the opportunity and I decided
Look,
to
I
do
don't
it.
mind you going. I just wish you would have told me, that's all.
Dude, she needs a therapist. You've been wanting out of this stupid relationship for like a year now.
Midsommar. Now look, I get it. Ari Aster is a craftsman. He wants to make a beautiful movie. The problem is, I don't think he knows how to make a good horror movie. Now, hear me out. I don't want to be that kind of a guy that absolutely shits on a horror movie unless it abides by horror cliches and tropes. I'm one of the biggest proponents of the fact that most of those horror cliches or tropes should be gotten rid of. But I don't know, there's just something about both of his movies now that I've watched, both with Hereditary and Midsommar, that just doesn't speak to me. Like, I'm not a fan of his portrayal of just human beings, because the problem is that the human beings that he selects, they don't feel...
About all of the beautiful Swedish women you'll meet in June.
Okay, guys.
That's not her again. Seriously?
Babe, what's happening? Danny.
I was so very sorry to hear about what happened.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't feel like they're ever the right people to be put in those situations. Like, for example, like the characters in Midsommar, they don't feel like the type that deserve what they're getting. Now, I get that that's part of the whole point of it, right? But I feel like with this, he's trying to go out of his way to portray them as unlikable people, and the problem is none of them really are. The only one that's even remotely unlikable is Jack Rayner. And the problem there is that the way that he's portrayed doesn't make him come off as unlikable. He just comes off as like a regular aloof boyfriend who just gets stuck in some really bad circumstances. Now, if the terrible circumstances are what he's aiming for, that's fine, but it never feels like that's what he's trying to go for. It feels like, once again, he's trying to have this incredible setup and then a payoff that's just everything that I could have predicted. I know about The Wicker Man. I know how these things end in these types of scenarios. And so I feel like that does take away from a lot of the narrative building and interesting things that could happen with this movie. Granted, the craft is absolutely phenomenal, but I even said this in my review, when it feels like the craft is overcompensating for the actual subject matter. Like, there has to be a little bit of cohesion there. Now, I get it. Art for art's sake. Respect the artist. Respect the creator. And I do. But yeah, I just didn't like this movie, and I'm allowed to say that, because that's how opinions work.
I was most excited for you to come.